You know, last month we talked about the soul's call. The soul's call. And this month we're taking the opportunity to revisit our spiritual principles, using them as a launching pad, you might say, for a fuller expression of the soul's call, and taking a look at being pulled by a vision. Now, you know, a vision is not just a picture of what could be. You know, a vision is an opportunity to better ourselves, a call to become something more in the world, if you will, and to lead from our better selves. But before we can do this, we have to get clear about our vision. And before we can get clear about our vision, we have to get clear about what we believe. What do I believe about myself and the way the world works? And what are my hidden beliefs that are operating on a daily basis? So I want to break that down and start by looking at the difference between believing and belief. To believe is to have confidence in the truth, the existence or the reliability of something. Only if one believes in something can one act purposefully. It's a state of mind, really. And a belief is the thing believed, the object of the belief. And something believed or accepted as true, especially a particular tenet or body of tenets accepted by a group of persons, by a group of people. Let me give you an example. I believe that we are all connected by a universal principle. That universal principle, or what you might call is my belief, is that we are all one. Nothing can separate us. And the thing is, it is our nature, you see, though, to constantly seek answers. I know I always am. To seek answers to various questions in life. We all choose a belief that fits our needs, whether this belief is of a version of the afterlife, for example, or something vastly more simple, such as a political party affiliation, or that the light will come on when I flip the switch. I mean, think about it. When you flip the switch and the light doesn't come on, what happens? You're like, oh, what happened? Right? The light's supposed to come on. I better investigate this. So we sort of take some of our beliefs for granted, don't we? And yet, belief is also the root of conflict. If one believes something, then the mere existence of it creates something to defend. Believing is having an idea of how you think the world really works when you don't know or can't even know for sure. You could say that it's a cousin to faith, maybe. It is our idea about why the world is the way it is and what our place in it is. I will defend my belief regardless of facts or evidence to the contrary. We're seeing a lot of this today. Regardless of science, regardless of the facts, I am going to believe it and defend it regardless of all of this. Galileo championed the idea that the earth revolved around the sun rather than the sun revolving around the earth. And some astronomers, along with the Catholic Church, said he was wrong. The Catholic Church went so far as to hold an inquisition in 1615 that concluded that the idea that the earth revolved around the sun was absurd and heretical because it contradicted Holy Scripture. He was forced to recant and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. Now, of course, we know that he was right. And there are still people who believe that the earth is flat today. I know it's not true because cats would knock everything off, right? Everything would fall off the edge of the earth. For all you cat owners.
Yep.
Within all of us, you see, you guys are just not getting it, right? They knock everything off. Within all of us lives a believer. Even believing in nothing is a belief. And for many of us, it's difficult to separate the belief from the believer. In our culture, we believe that cows are food and dogs are pets. In India, cows are sacred. So which belief is right? Ernest Holmes says, we must separate the belief from the believer in order to do our treatment or our prayer work. Jesus said, when ye pray, believe that ye have and ye shall receive. He did not say, believe and you will immediately have. He said, ye shall receive. Now, I want you to think about this. From the moment we're born, we hear, feel, and what we hear, feel, and see gets recorded in our mind as memory and in our bodies as physical reaction. What do I mean by that? Our parents or our primary caregivers become our role models. Yours is sitting right there.
She is.
Yeah, I think she did a really good job.
No, I do too.
So our parents are our primary
Gotta give some mama love.
Yeah, a little bit of love there. They become our role models. We look to them to learn how to behave and survive in the world. Over time, what we learn accumulates and shapes our beliefs, our thoughts, and our actions. And if we look closely at our lives now, we can see that we're operating from a description that we've been given. The way our parents saw the world and how they behaved in it shaped the description we take with us into our world. Not only can our beliefs and thoughts be ingrained in us at a young age, but also our physical reactions. A person's posture, facial expressions, and their level of sensitivity can be completely related to events experienced in the past. Health issues we have today can be an accumulation of physical restriction in the body or the way we learn to react to stress. And our parents learned from their parents, and their parents learned from their parents, and so on and so on. There's a study going on right now with mothers who have Botox, because babies learn within weeks of being born what expressions mean. And when there's no expression up there, the baby cannot read what it cannot mimic that expression. So there's a study going on, and I find that fascinating.
So we should embrace our wrinkles?
Yes.
All right.
Embrace your wrinkles. I know I embrace mine every day when I look at them in the mirror. Oh, God, there's another one. Thank you very much. For many of us, religion plays a significant role in shaping our lives and what we believe. And for some of us, those religious beliefs no longer work. They no longer fit into our lives. As adults, you see, we get the opportunity to take a look at our hidden beliefs and decide if they do or do not work any longer. The majority of you here today, I would say, are here because you don't fit into the mold anymore. You don't fit in whatever mold you grew up with. And so maybe you're here to find out how your life got to be the way it is, which is a wonderful thing to do. Freedom comes, you see, with responsibility. So when we let go of all of those beliefs, or we work on letting go of all of those beliefs, we begin to find a certain freedom within ourselves. But this freedom comes with responsibility. And what threatens our freedom is the lie, the word lie, that sits smack dab in the middle of the word believe. So before you commit, search for the lie. What do I mean by this? Ernest Holmes writes in Science of Mind, a new light is coming into the world. We are on the borderland of a new experience. The veil between spirit and matter is very thin. The invisible passes into visibility through our faith in it, through our belief in it. A new science, a new religion, and a new philosophy are rapidly being developed. He wrote this in the late 20s.
Wow.
This is in line with the evolution of the great presence, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can hinder its progress. What we believe, you see, influences how we act. And how we act influences the world around us. For example, if you believe it is important to protect the environment, it might lead you to use a water filter or drink tap water instead of buying water in plastic bottles, because we know that plastic is harmful to the environment. Do you see how that works? And think about it. In order to evolve, we must allow spirit to be involved in our lives.
Ooh, that's good. Say that again.
In order to evolve, we must allow spirit to be involved in our lives.
I'm going to tweet that later.
Are you?
I'll quote you.
Will you quote me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this world evolution, you see, that most of us are seeking begins with self, the you and the me, and our everyday commitment to our spiritual growth and our commitment to the vision that I'm talking about.
That's right. So it's up to us.
It's up to us.
It's up to us. It's the good news and maybe the bad news, because what we realize is that we have the power, and we have the power to choose. We get to choose what we believe. We get to choose where to put our faith, or in other words, where are we placing our awareness, our trust, our intention, in order to co-create from that place of oneness. So there is freedom in choice, and in that also lies responsibility. Because honestly, we can't take anything at face value anymore. Nope. I mean, last week I shared a quote that I thought for years was by Einstein, and then with a little more digging in, realized, nope, that's just something the internet made up and attributed to him. It's not, so it's like, you can't take anything at face value anymore.
Well, Abraham Lincoln said you can't believe everything you read on the computer.
He was so wise beyond his times. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so we really have to investigate. We have to be willing to look at what we believe and all this information that's coming at us, because there are so many stories, there's so many accusations and falsehoods going around that we simply can't buy in before we dig in.
Buy in before we dig in.
That's,
I'm gonna
tweet that
later. And I'm going to give myself credit.
Of course. So we simply can't buy into what we're seeing, all this information that's around us, without digging in a little bit, and A, investigating to make sure it's true, and B, making sure that it actually resonates with who we are before we say yes to what we choose to believe. We get to allow ourselves to get clear on that vision that is pulling us forward. But it's up to us to actually do the work, right? To contemplate, to listen, to meditate, to vision, and to trust that inner guidance, or that soul's urge, that soul's calling that is within all of us. And the responsibility comes in whether we are making choices in alignment with that vision. Are we making choices in alignment with the truth that we are all one, that we are interconnected? And do our actions reflect that? Or are we thinking and choosing and believing and taking actions based on the lie of separation, based on lack, based on fear. So from where are you creating? So this 4th of July, happy 4th, everyone, is the time in the United States where we get to honor the value of freedom. So let us let this holiday remind us that not only are we free, and we're free to choose what we want to think and do and be and express in this world, but with that freedom also comes an opportunity to make an impact. Knowing that we are all one, we know what we do unto others will be done unto us. We want to treat people the way we want to be treated. It's the law of cause and effect, or in some traditions, karma, it is called. So what we know is that everything that we put out into this vibratory field in which we live, through our thoughts, through our beliefs, through our words, through our actions, it creates a ripple effect. So we get to make an impact through our own energy and unique vibration, through the words and thoughts and prayers and actions that we take. We are always creating a ripple effect. And that is where we get to choose what is the impact we are making. What is that in our own relationships, in our own spheres of influences on our planet, what is the impact that we want to make? And we know that our choices have an impact because we live in a universe governed by spiritual law. What goes around comes around. What you focus on expands. What you become aware of, or what you put all your energy on, is what manifests, right? So there's many ways of saying this same idea, that this is how the law works in your life. So when you become clear on what you believe, when you become clear on this vision that you desire, not only for yourself, for the world, and you become clear on your impact, then you can remain steadfast in allowing that vision to unfold through you without getting in your own way. Because really that's what it's all about, right? We get in our own way all the time. We get in our own way all the time. So when we have a vision of a world that works for everyone, or when we have a vision for wholeness and equity and peace and love and joy, whatever those truths are that you hold dear, knowing that what is true for everyone, and that this spiritual law doesn't play favorites, we get to actively cultivate this vision and allow it to come forward through us. When we declare the infinitude of the infinite, we acknowledge our interconnection, our oneness. And our social and moral responsibility is to honor that infinite presence within each person. That's the work, right? To honor it within each person. Everyone. It is vitally important then that we create a safe space for the peaceful expression of the experience of members and groups of society, such that we create a life-affirming institutions and organizations that do no harm. So we start within ourselves, but we have to see how that ripples out into our structures and systems in the world, creating a world in which all lives are valued. So I believe as a society, we really are being pulled now by this vision to honor the magnificent diversity of humanity by recognizing every racial and cultural and gender and sexuality, ethnicity, age, ability. All of this is simply a unique expression of the divine. And when we get to honor these different expressions as essential to life, then we can affirm and know that there is an evolution of humanity occurring right here. And we are in the midst of it.
In the midst.
We are in the midst of it, and we can help co-create this shift in this soul evolution in our collective consciousness as well, by getting clear on what is really true, by getting clear on that vision that is calling us forward, and then also asking, what is mine to do? Key question there. What is mine to do? So Thich Nhat Hanh says, aware of economic, political, and social realities around the world, as well as our interrelationship with the ecosystem, we are determined to behave responsibly as consumers and citizens. So that's kind of a little call to action right there, knowing that once you become awake and aware, once you learn something, you can't really go back. So if you learn something new that no longer fits in your value system, then you might have to make some new choices about some of the things that you are consuming or buying or participating in that may no longer be a best choice for yourself or the world. So perhaps now is the time to really explore those beliefs that we hold so dear and to ask, do they still work in our lives? Are they still true? Does it still fit? Is it a vibrational match? And it's time to start investigating what is real and what is not. Don't just take it at face value. Because before we can really get a vision, we have to see clearly with our own eyes. So today is a chance to embrace a vision of freedom, of justice, of equity, respect, and stewardship. Because what we know is that all people are created equal and endowed by certain inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in our New Thought, Ancient Wisdom principles and values and teachings, we affirm this principle through the individual and the collective, knowing that we are one. So we get to choose. That is freedom, and there is responsibility. We have the responsibility and the opportunity and the authority to create a world that works for everyone and has the opportunity for everyone to thrive. So on this day, we get to unshade the truth, be inclusive in our cultural and spiritual engagement, and create safe mental, spiritual, and physical spaces filled with the excitement of human interaction based on authentic and mutual love and respect. That's what Ahava is all about.
Absolutely.
That is why we are here, to honor each other as the beloved and create that safe space to simply be and to be honored and valued and to be seen. So that is what Ahava is here for. That is what I am interested in. And I hope that you will join me in that vision as well. Shall we pray?
Absolutely.
All right. So taking a nice deep breath right here, right now, and just allowing that movement of the breath, simply allowing each breath you take to become deeper and to remind you that right here, right now, there is a presence, an essence, something that is breathing each of us. It is this thing called life. It is the very source energy back of all things, that which some call God, universe, spirit, divine. What I know is that this one life is love. This one life is wholeness. That this life is freedom. And knowing that there's only one divine activity, one thing happening right here, right now, I know that it must be the very essence, the very nature and truth of who I am. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am free. I am free to choose. I am free to be. I am free to express. And knowing with that is an opportunity to make an impact. Oh, how good it is to remember this truth, that we are all connected, that there is only one life happening right here, right now. So therefore, I take this time to listen, to consciously choose, to allow freedom, to allow love to be that guiding force in my life. To see clearly that vision that is calling forth for me to participate with in order to create this world of equity and justice for all. That I get to know and see the truth within myself, and others. What a beautiful opportunity to remember that we are all one, to remember that this one life is the very essence that is coursing through my veins, that is the very vibration of all that is good, that is love, that is peace, that is joy, that is wholeness, that is freedom, that is creativity. It is who I am. How good it is to get to recognize that in each and every beloved I encounter. So I take this day as I contemplate this idea of freedom and responsibility to know what is mine to do. I take this day to know what is real and true about myself and the world, that there is only one life, and that life is love, is peace, is freedom. So I'm just so grateful to have this moment, to be awake and aware, so grateful to get to consciously choose and co-create all that I desire in my life for this greatest vision that is unfolding through me right here, right now, as the soul's evolution of the collective consciousness of humanity that is growing and expanding, ever growing and expanding. And that I get to be a part of as I choose to say yes. Yes. And that universal law does its thing and also always says yes. So I take a breath of acceptance as I pass my word to Reverend Soni.
And standing in the power of the word that has already been spoken, I acknowledge and accept and stand in the power and the presence of the word, of the truth, knowing that as our beloveds before saw an image, saw a vision, that all people are created equal, saw a vision, held an intention of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, endowed by the Creator. And so I know this Creator as beauty, as love, as creativity, as all of these things that have been said. I also know it as the power and the presence of all that is and all that shall be and all that ever was. I know this infinite life that I speak of truly is unfolding in that power, in that soul's call, in that vision of equality. I know right here and right now this vision leads, that we are being pulled by this vision of a world that works for everyone. And I stand in that power, knowing that for anyone who may be experiencing any lack or limitation or dis-ease, or an experience that is not so favorable right now in their lives, I know that there's a greater truth to be known, and that is that God is right where we are, in perfect divine order, unfolding in that order, supporting, sustaining, and maintaining the wholeness of all. For this community and for every community. And so it is with a grateful heart that I release this word into the perfect universal law, knowing that the law always says yes, it always says yes, it always says yes. Standing in the power of yes, the place of grace, by saying Shalom, Hamdalela, Ashe, Namaste. Amen. And so it is.
So it is.